All right, there we go. All right. So I did send out this email this morning, earlier this morning. All right, and it said, my hope is for us to complete this React only portion in class today, this React Router v6 project, and then move on to our MERN-stack project. That's the plan, at least. Okay. What I did was I have my latest and greatest, excuse me. I have my latest and greatest GitHub repo right there. So out on github.com, JP Scott, router v6. It's the same one as yesterday, but I updated it about an hour ago. So like I said, that is the latest and greatest as far as I know. The other thing, just so you know, and I've actually guess I sent it out twice, but this is you're going to be your last homework, because the only other homework we're going to have is to do this project that we're going to start on. So as it says on here for part 1, you are to complete the React weather app. You all should be able to do that, adding your own CSS, etc., and it should work. Then I want you to make a copy of it and change it, and just basically change any functional components you have into class components. All right, that's part 1. Then for part 2, I'm still working on that. I spent 2 hours last night trying to get that darn page to print, and I still haven't gotten it to print. So I'm still trying, and as soon as I figure out what the problem is, it's probably something real simple that I'm just looking through, but I'll let you know what that is. And then you will have to complete the React Movie app and style both pages. For now, you can style the home page, all right, but you'll have to style both pages. And again, it should be functional. And on that one, I want you to make a copy when you get done, remove the call from the copy that's in there to fetch, and replace it with a call to Axios. All right. Then finally, for part 3, just what we've been working on. Okay. So we went through about the first 6 pages yesterday. My hope is we can finish this today. All right. That's the plan, at least. And as it says, replace the courses that are in there with the actual AWD courses, names, etc. And those you can again get from right here. All right. So that was A. Fix the descriptions as discussed in class. So, I already mentioned this, that when you run the program right now, it says comments or description or whatever, and I want that replaced with our actual course descriptions. And then finally, I'd like you to add comments to this, so you can show me and yourselves that you know exactly what's going on throughout the program. Now, this was from yesterday, so yesterday's tomorrow is today, of course. So today we will finish, hopefully, this project. And the plan is we're going to start with the MERN-stack project tomorrow. Now, I'm not much ahead of you on this, so I'm going to do what I can do tonight. So I don't know if I don't get a lot done tonight. All right. If I don't get a lot done, then it'll be a shorter lecture tomorrow, but I'm hoping that isn't the case. All right. I've got a doctor's appointment tonight, and I don't know how long that's going to take. So just do the best we can. All right. So with that said, I want to jump back out of this and into this. All right. So yesterday, what we did then was we came in, we created the project. All right. We cleaned up the index file. We cleaned up the app.js. You may or may not have. We added that home component. Then we went in and started to add some stuff. All right. We came in and we set up a route for the home, which you may or may not still have. If you want to keep that in there, that's fine. And if you don't, that's fine as well. All right. Then we went in and added Bootstrap, just the CSS part. All right. And we also came in and we created the courses file. We replaced these courses that are shown here with AWD1000, AWD1100, AWD1111, and AWD1115. All right. And then we went back in and changed the routes so all of that stuff shows. And that's pretty much where we left off. All right. So right now, when I run mine, so when I do my npm start, all right, I get there on the home component, but if I either go out to /courses, I get that, or if I go out to /apps, which basically does the equivalent of a redirect, moves me back to courses. So that's where I am. All right, so I'm right there, which pretty much is the same thing as they showed right here, except mine is centered and theirs isn't. So I'm picking it up from right there. You may have noticed already, and I didn't change this, but I don't know if the person has a problem spelling or what, but we're just going to pick it up from there. Now, they ask you to come in and create a new file under components called allcourses.js, which I'm going to do in just a minute. All right. I do want you to see, though, they called it here all courses with a lowercase c. And then when he uses it in here, it's all courses with an uppercase C. So I'm going to make it with an upper course. And basically, this is the same file as our courses file. We're going to change the courses file momentarily. So the reason I'm telling you that is rather than going in and recreating a brand new file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here. I'm going to go into my router 6 that's right here, and under components, I'm going to take my courses file, I'm going to copy it and paste it and change the name of it to all courses. I mean, why do a lot of extra work that we technically don't even have to do? So I will now open it up. Again, I'm just using Notepad++ in here. This is from yesterday when I was trying to go in and make changes to that movie thing to get that darn details page to show, but whatever. So I've now got all courses up here. Of course, this will have to change to all courses. Whoops. As will this. All right, but I'm looking in here to see what else has changed, and I don't remember there being much, if anything else, that has changed. Again, that will say all courses instead of my courses. Right? List group, we've got the courses in there, and the UL and the div, boom, boom. I think that's it. All right. So again, like I said, basically it's the same thing as what we created yesterday for the courses file, except we changed it here from courses to all courses, changed it here from courses to all courses, and changed this from my courses to all courses. All right. So it says now in the routes, create the routes for it in the app.js file. So I'm going to do that next. So I'm going to come in here, oops, and open up the app.js file right here. This is the way it currently looks. All right. And oh, in fact, I went ahead. We got to do a bundles file first. I'm sorry. So I'll leave this. That's fine right there. But I'm going to open up. And again, there's quite a few differences, but I'll grab the all courses. I'm going to make a copy, paste it, and that's going to become my bundles.js. All right. And now I'm going to open that. Make the changes we always make at the beginning. So this will become bundles. So will this. And now I'm going to make the other changes that are shown there. Okay. So we still want that to be a container. We have an H2 underneath our container here. They've got an H1. It really doesn't matter. All right. And this is supposed to say bundles. All right. And then we again, we have an unordered list, but we only have two things in here. So that'll be our list group. The class name is still list group item. This one I'm going to change to kind of what they have, which is web development. We'll just call it track. And this one I'm going to call C# track. Again, that isn't that important. So if you don't like my wordage in there and you want to change it to something else, go ahead and do it. It's totally fine. All right. So I'm going to save this. Now I'm going to open up. I'm up to page 8 of this handout here. I'm going to come in here and upgrade the app.js. All right. So let's do that. The first thing to do, try that again, is I want to go in and I want to add my all courses. And I want to add the bundles. All right, so I've now added them at the top, but I also want to come in, excuse me, I want to come in and I want to add the, I want to come in and I want to add them down here in our actual routes. All right, it's not too different from this one, so I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to put in here first. The first one that's in there, element equal courses, is correct. All right, the next one then will be, this will be all courses, as will this. And then finally, we'll have bundles and bundles. Now, when I came up with the idea, good, bad, or indifferent, but when I came up with the idea of creating this project and having us do some work on it, the thought was that you're seeing there's a lot of repetition in here. And a lot of the stuff that we're doing in here, it's not even just repetition, it's very similar to one another. So there's a lot of patterns, so to speak, that go on in here. All right. And you'll notice that if we're not navigating like this, which again, this is like a redirect, that basically we're just saying element equals, and we're capitalizing it. So we're using our component name. And down here, we're putting it in lowercase because we're basically giving the actual route to it. And like I said, the thought was that would at least make some sense to everybody, because when we actually are going in and starting to create this MERN stack project, you're going to see a lot of this stuff. All right, so let me save this. And next it says we're supposed to open up the courses, not the all courses, but the courses.js file. So I'm going to open that now. All right. And it says now in the courses.js file, we will remove some of the earlier data and add 2 links, which will take us to the all courses and to the bundle routes. It says we are now using an outlet here because we want to show the all courses and bundles components here only. All right, this is one place where I want you to go online and take a look at that stuff and figure out what everything means and put some comments in here. All right. All right, so we've got our React right here. We are supposed to add to this. Again, I'm on the bottom of page 8. We are supposed to import here, link, and outlet from React Router DOM. All right. Then inside of here, we want to get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. It's been replaced. We have moved this to the all courses. All right, so I'm going to get rid of that. And we've got the container, we've got my courses here, and now I'm going to add the paragraph that's shown there and the 2 link tags that are shown again in the code snippet that's on the bottom of page 8 of this handout. All right. And again, if you don't really like the explanations here, put in your own. I don't care. I care that this works, but as far as what it says, how you set it up, that's more or less up to you. Oh, they want a class in here. Class is lead. That's a bootstrap class. Probably already know that. All right, so I'll give you a second to put that in. I think that's all correct. All right, if you see anything, as always, if you see anything I put in here that's wrong, please let me know. But I'm going to save that, and I'll give you a second to key that in. Oh, I am missing something here, and that is the outlet tag. Yeah. I think I've said this before, but I am going to mention it again, and that is next week or not next week, probably tomorrow when we start on the project here, I'm going to be continuing to do a movie site. If you don't want to do that, that's totally okay. I'm revising it a little bit, and I'll give you everything I have. But if you decide you want to do it on something else, you always want to make your own e-commerce site that sells shoes. Go ahead and do that. I don't have any problem with that at all. I'm hoping that you're going to take this again and run with it and make it your own. All right. I'm hoping you had a chance to put all that in. So already done the save, I guess. So I want to see if it works or if I broke anything. Well, according to this, it's got one error. So let's see if we can figure out what that is. All right. It looks like when I put in React Router DOM, I put in an equal sign there instead of a dash. So let's save it and look at it again. And it says that it compiled successfully. All right. I like to clear out of this and run it so it looks clean. So if anything does break, I'll know right that it broke there. So, all right. So we're coming in here. There's our home component again. And if I go out to courses, all right, now I get this. And if I click the courses, well, something screwed up because it's not showing. So let's look at the bundles. Nothing showing there. So I'm going to go back and take a look at what I've got, because when I go to all courses, it should be showing me every one of those courses, which it's not doing. And when I go to bundles, I believe it should be showing me those, just the two things, and it's not. So I'm going to go back and look at both of those files to see if by chance I made any mistakes when I keyed something in. So I'm going to start with the all courses, and I'm going to jump back again. I'm going to jump back again in the handout to the top of page 7 and take a look. As always, if you see that I screwed up someplace, please let me know. I do have an MB2 on here, but that's just a margin, so that's not going to really matter. And our list group items. To my knowledge, there's nothing wrong in here. All right. Again, there could be, but to my knowledge, there's nothing wrong in here. All right. So I'm going to go over and check my bundles file as well. Again, those are aesthetic things. They shouldn't have any effect on the way this runs. And again, that looks correct to me. So let me save it. Then I'm going to go back and look at my app.js file. Looks like there should not be a slash there. I don't know if that's enough to fix it or not. And there should not be a slash there. Well, let me save it and take a look at it, see if that changed anything. Okay, you can see that it keeps recompiling, so there are no errors, so syntactically it is correct right now. Let me go back. So there's our home component. So if we go to courses, that's good. Again, if we go to apps here, it should keep us on the same page. And it does. Oh, it's not, because I put caps instead of apps. All right, and there's courses. Still not showing anything, doggone it. It's pushing us off to the right thing, all courses. And bundles, not showing anything, but it's pushing us off the bundles. All right. So I don't see anything I'm doing wrong. So I'm going to continue on and I'm going to look at it and keep looking at it. All right. And when we take our first break, I'm going to look at it during the break and see if I see anything I've done wrong. As always, like I said, if you see something I put in there that's incorrect, please let me know. All right. So I'm on the bottom part of page 9, where the author says, now we will add logic to click on any course and show the course details. We need the name of the course, so we will be using the wildcard ID inside of the all courses route by creating a new route in the app.js file. And that is done on page 10. All right, so let's go into the app.js. Like I said, I want this to work by the end of the class today. All right, so I'm back into app.js. We've got our home. We've got our navigate here. And for our all courses, we got our courses here. For this all courses that you see right here, let's see. They want us to add another one down here for a file we haven't created yet, and that's going to be called single course. All right, which will mean that this has to change, but this is sort of along the lines of what we did when we worked in Postman, in that we're going to put in here :ID. So this is going to allow us, ideally at least, to just do a certain course. All right. So route path equal :ID, element equal single course. I believe that that is all correct. All right. So it says now in the all courses file, we have created an array course list containing our courses. You'll see that on the next page. It says after that, we're going to map through inside our UL and add a nav link to each LI. So the idea is, if you turn in this handout, or I can bring it up on the screen right now as well, but what we want to have happen is, and I'm on page, I guess we're on page 10, something like that. But what we eventually want to have happen is this. When we click on one of these courses, we want it to be highlighted. And down here, we want to add that information as well. All right. So it'll show the course name, but we'll add some more stuff to it as we go on. All right. So again, when I looked in here, and I'm going to keep looking because I want this to be correct. All right. But what we did so far, what we've done today is we came in, we started up on page 6. So we added this all courses file. And what I did was I just copied over the courses to all courses because it's basically the same file, except we changed line 3 to all courses, line 18 to all courses, and line 6 to all courses. Other than that, it was the same thing we had done previously, and I thought mine was correct. Again, I'll take a look at it in just a bit. Then we came in and we did the bundles. So all I did was copy the same file and make a bunch of changes. And the idea in here is eventually when you look at this, all right, it'll look like this. And when you click on courses, it'll show all 4 of them. When you click on bundles, it'll show just the 2, those being the web development track and the C# track. So that's what we're moving towards, ideally at least. All right. So we came in and we made the changes to app.js right here and right here. All right. Then we went into the courses.js file. And as it says, we removed some of the stuff that was in there and we replaced it. We have outlet there and we have outlet there. And we've got our 2 link tags in here and a paragraph. So we replaced what was in courses, which was that unordered list of courses, which again, we moved to all courses. We replaced it with this. All right. Then what was supposed to happen is it was supposed to look like this. But again, mine isn't showing anything. I have no idea if yours is showing something or it's not, but I will continue to work on this. All right. And if I see something during the break that I screwed up on, as soon as we come back from the break, I'll let you know what that was. All right. So that brought us to right here. And as it says, now we will add logic to click on any course and show the course details. We need the name of the course and that wildcard. So we're going to be adding the new route, and that was the one right here. So it looked just like the one above. All right, route path equals, except instead of all courses, it's :ID, and instead of all courses, it's single course. All right, then we've got to go into the single and create a single course file. All right, and it says in the all courses file, we're going to create an array course list containing all of the courses. It says after that, we're going to map through it in an unordered list and add the nav link to each one. All right. It says here we will be going to the route /courses/all courses. And then in here, you've seen this kind of syntax before. What we're saying is as the program is running, depending on which course we click, it'll go to that particular course. All right. So the next thing to do then is to come in here into the all courses. I'm on the top of page 11 in the handout, and see what has to change in here. All right, so I'm going to jump back into the actual code. All right, and I'm going back into all courses right here, and I'm going to start making changes. All right, again, we want to come back in here and we want to import into here nav link, because we're eventually hopefully going to get a link in there, and outlet, and that is from React Router DOM. All right. Then in our all courses, the first thing we want to do before we return, by now, you should be confident and clear on the fact that any logic we put in before the return statement. All right. That's why we have been putting all of our functions, methods, whatever you want to call them, we've been putting them above the return statement. So const course list equals, now mine will be different, of course, than theirs. All right. And it is an array. In fact, I'm going to go and grab them from here so I don't screw them up. And I'll just put each one on its own line. All right, so let's plop those in here. And it looks like for the last ones, I didn't put the dashes in, so I'll manually add those. Right there. And right there. And this is 1115. And this is database driven web development 2. All right. So that's part of it. Now what we want to do is we want to change the logic in here. In our unordered list, I'm going to remove everything that's in there for now. All right. And also make sure under the unordered list, I add an outlet tag. Like that. And now in here, I'm going to map. Now, both of you, to my knowledge, had Evan, all right, last semester or last year, whenever it was, for the AWD1111 class. And I'm taking for granted that he at least went over with you what the map function is. If not, typically you use the map function to iterate over a collection most oftentimes an array. And from there, typically what you're doing is you're creating another array. All right. So let's go through there and do this. And I'm going to tab this over one. There we go. All right. And this will end up with a paren, and that. All right. Right. Unless I mistyped, that should be everything. And I can now measure these up. Let's see. That goes with that. Those two go together. That goes with this. That's good. I believe I want to go look in here. That is a paren right there, not a, let's bring that down. That was a paren. All right, so that paren goes with that paren. All right. This should go with this. That's good. And this goes with that. So I think that is correct. And I'm going to try to bring that up here so I can quick take a look at it here. Far as I can tell, everything that's in there is correct. Now, it's not going to work because the step before this didn't work. All right. but I believe at least everything that's in here now, believe that everything that's in here is correct. So let me save this and let me do a file new, and I'm going to put in the single course that's shown on the bottom of page 11 in this handout. Mhm. It's not in each one. It looks like it's in each 5. And I think that's everything. So I'll leave that up there for a second. Now, one thing that they do mention, this is another hook. So when you are working with functional components and you put anything in there that you're importing from React Router DOM that starts with use, it's a hook. And from what I've read, at least, the reason that they're calling it a hook is it is not mandatory to put that stuff in like this when you are using class-based components, but it's something that's been hooked in. All right. The other thing too is this line that is known as object destructuring. We don't want to sit, what we're doing is we're plucking out the thing from use params that we want, and that's the ID. So rather than saying something like use params.id, we destructure it here on line 5 so we can just use ID. Right? So let's see, double check here. Looks like a lot of mistakes right here. First of all, that shouldn't say cart title. It should say card title. And it looks like I left a line out of here. So they've got another line right here with a paragraph tag in it with class name equals card text. And it has in there the ID and our ending paragraph tag. Now, it's not going to work, and I will look at it in just a couple minutes. But when you go and you turn the page and you look on page 12, this is the picture I showed you before, because it says there, now we are able to click on any course and its data is shown in localhost. Well, it's not going to. So again, I'll have to take a look at it and see if I've added anything wrong and where I added it wrong. All right, so I am going to do a save all or a save on this. And this is supposed to be single course, I believe. .js. All right, so now that one's done. All right, then on page 12, they say, now we will add the logic to pass data from a component to another component. In React Router version 6, we can do that using the use navigate hook, or we can simply pass it through a link. All right, and as they say, in the single course file, they're going to come in there and they're going to add an anchor tag where clicking on it will navigate to a new dashboard route. We are passing in a state variable as the second parameter, all right, and passing in the ID. It says we're also passing in a link tag. So I'm up to page 13 on this, all right. On page 13, they show the changes they want to make to the single course, and then afterwards, the changes that they're going to want to make to the app.js. So let's do those and then we'll take a break. All right, so I'm back here in the single course, and not only use params, but it says we will also want to put in here use navigate and link. All right. Then not just this const ID, but we want to add another variable in here, or constant. All right. So we've got those two done. Finally, in our return statement, we want to change this around. So after we are right here, now we want to come into here and we want to put an anchor tag in there with an on click event that if we click on it, we're supposed to navigate over to our dashboard. All right. That should be everything that's in there. I'll give you a second to put it in. All right, again, I'm on page 13 on the top half, and I'm going to put in the just 2 changes into app.js, and then we're going to take a break and then come back from the break. And we only have 3 or 4 more pages on here. So during the break, I'm going to give you 15 minutes because I'm going to try to figure out what the heck is wrong with mine. All right. And if I do, I'll let you know as soon as I figure it out. I want you to know too that once we get into where we're working on this burn stack project, we're going to be doing things that may seem sometimes not like in slow motion, but very slowly because I want to do it deliberately. The other thing that we're going to do is at the end of each class period, I'm going to ask that you do the same. And that is that I want you to update your GitHub repo and keep pushing this out every day. So you'll have several versions of this. So if there is a problem with anything, you're going to be able to go back to the last working version that you had. All right. So let me save this and then I'm going to go back to app.js. All right. Looks like we have to make 2 changes in here. The first one is we need another import statement. So we want to import in here dashboard from components dashboard. We have not created that yet. We'll do that after the break. All right. And then we also have to get the route for that. So I'm going to copy this and right under the bundles one, I'm just going to make a copy and throw it right underneath there. All right. And this will say slash dashboard. All right. And this one is going to say element equals. This will be dashboard as well. Right. I think that everything that's in here is up to date. Now, something is definitely wrong because I'm not getting output, but I'm going to go back and check on that during the break. All right. So when we come back, we don't have very much to do here. We will create our dashboard.js file, which is on the top of page 14. And then hopefully those 2 links will work. And then finally, we'll go and we'll fix our home component on page 15. All right. And we're just basically going to add a button in there. So we don't have very much to do. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a break right now. It's 1 o'clock. I'm going to give you till 1:15. And I'm going to go and look through my code during that 15 minutes, see if I can figure out what the problem is. And if I can, all right, I'm going to let you know as soon as we get back from the break. So again, it's 1 o'clock. Let's please come back at 1:15. Thanks. So that makes sense. Give me just a second here. All right. Let me add this, bring this back. I did massive rewrite. Some of it I even copied from the actual GitHub repo, but I found most of the mistakes I had were minor, I thought, but I guess when you added them all up, there were a lot more than minor. Now I've already made the last changes in here, but we're going to add a button to our home component, and when we click all courses, it comes up to here. When we click on courses, it comes up to here. I didn't put those in here yet. I want to change this, so in the more info, that's got to change. I will put that in just a minute. This, I don't even know this. I guess we can leave that the way it is. But let's go back and take a quick look. So I'm going to show you everything in every file that I have. All right. So taking it from the top, this is what we're asked to do at the end. So you can go ahead and put that in. This is the home component. We have changed the home component and we have added a button in there that's blue, and it's supposed to go and redirect us to courses. All right. And it says all courses on it. All right. This is what's shown in this handout on page 15. Not a lot of changes. All right, but we are importing link in there in line 2. And then in lines 6, 7, 8, and 9, we have redone the div. Previously, all it said in here was home component. So we added this. So from the home page, then we should be able to, and you saw that we should be able to click the button that says all courses, and it should push us off to the courses page. The other thing that we were supposed to do, this was on page 14, was to set up the dashboard. So let me grab that. There that is. Okay. Now on here with this card text where it says learn from the industry experts in live one-on-one session, we can change that if we want to. All right, again, if you don't like what that says. So taking it from the top, we did home first. So you see that there. All right. From home, we went and we added courses, which is right here. And then from the courses, we came in and we added all courses, which was right here. And that's where we put in the array full of stuff. And I don't know what happened here. Looks a little better. All right. One of the mistakes that I had was I believe I had single quotes here and not backticks. So I wasn't going anywhere. That was part of the problem that I had. All right. Then after the all courses, we did bundles, which was this. Then after bundles, we did the single course, which was here. All right. Whoops. And after the single course, we did the dashboard, which was here. Let me move this so I put this down on multiple lines. All right. And then finally, the only thing to do was to fix up our app.js file. All right. And our app.js file was right here. And the big thing in there was we had to make sure we imported home, courses, all courses, bundles, single course, dashboard, and of course our CSS file. All right. And then added the appropriate routes for each one. And again, on there, you can tell that they're basically all set up the same except for apps. And apps, like I said, that's what a navigate that's basically doing a redirect that says whether you put in /courses or /apps, in either case, it's going to bring you over to the courses. All right. And now this isn't the best way to tell you this, John, but if you are still having problems, one thing that you could do is you could go
Mr.
and
Scott,
yeah.
I actually fixed my error. It's apparently my folder got created inside another folder, so I figured it out. It works now,
Oh,
but
good,
I'm
good
just
deal.
having trouble after I start it. It just doesn't show anything. So that's one error. And then my second problem too is I'm trying to put it on a GitHub repo, like you said, and I did all the steps, and then after the end, after I do a git push, it says fatal protocol get remote at origin is not supported.
Well, then one thing to check if that's the case is I'm taking for granted that out on GitHub, where are we here? That out on GitHub, you made, like, let's just say that I'm going to just make this, and I'm going to get rid of it later. But so if I come in here and let's just say I made this new thing that I just called Hello React. All right. And I just know that's available. But so yours would be your, the name of your project. And then, of course, private, etc. But when you click on this, you need this line. Did you add that line?
Yeah, I copied the whole thing.
All right. And you can always check to make sure that it's correct by typing in get remote -v. And if it
Yeah, I
says
did
that,
the
go ahead.
I opened git bash here, and I did git init, then git add space dot. I did a git commit, and then I put in the get remote at origin, that line,
Yeah.
And then after that, I did the get remote minus V, and it says like it normally does, the fetch and the push. And then I did a get push, and then it gave me the fatal protocol get remote at origin. HTTPS is not supported.
Okay, one thing to make sure of, all I can think of, make sure in your lineup here, it should be because you've got HTTPS here, but make sure you don't choose SSH there.
Okay. No, it says HTTPS.
So it should have been. And up here, it should say HTTPS also. All right. And boy. Well, do this for me. Take a screenshot of that error and send it to me right now, because I've shown you everything there is on here. The only thing, again, that we're going to have to do is when you click on these, is to change that more info thing. Now, I'm looking here, and this says, learn from industry experts in a live one-on-one session. And I bet you this says the same thing. It does. And I'll bet you this says the same thing. And it does, because we've only got that thing going in there once. So I think you can leave that the way it is. All of these, well, mine isn't 100% working either, because theirs turned blue. So I might be missing something. I don't know. But all of them do work, because notice when I go to here, it changes here. It changes here. I lost the C sharp somehow. Here it changes there, and it changes there. But the message is the same every time. It might be more trouble than it's worth to actually put the descriptions in here. You can try it, but if you can't get them to work, just leave it the way it is and just put them in there. But I would like you to pretty this up, and I'd like you to put the comments in there as well. All right. And like I said, that's what I had. So I'd like you to work on that. And then for the rest of the period, I'd like you to start working on this. So you should be able to do part one. I'm going to look at John's error, and if we can figure it out, as soon as I figure it out, or hopefully we do, I'm going to come in here and try to, again, work on getting that detail. But otherwise, you can style your main page in here for your movie app, and you can do most, if not all, of the work on this one. So I'm trying to give you some lab time in addition to what we'll be working on Friday. All right. And that is due, as it says, a week from tomorrow. I don't want anybody to say I ruined their Thanksgiving. That's why I'm making it due then. All right. If you get it done earlier, just push it out there and let me know. All right. So, John, again, if you haven't done so, maybe you already did.
Yeah, I just sent you that
All
error.
right. And I've
and then
got,
also,
go ahead.
also, so last week I pushed my weather app and my movie app out to you onto GitHub and sent you an invite. I don't know if you got those, but I'm also having no module errors in there, and I'm not even sure about that. How to fix it.
All right. Send me an email on what you just said, so I'm sure
Okay.
that what you're asking, I'm answering. So I'm looking on here. Now, have you always used master and not main on yours when you push?
It's crazy enough, but it kind of switches. Like sometimes I'll use
Well,
main, sometimes I'll use
okay,
master.
okay. That's a really important thing. Let me show you why. All right. Because when you go out here, okay, so I'm just going to grab this. And when you go out here and you look, you may actually have two branches. You may have a branch. I'm going to bring up a different one that I've already got done in here. So let's see. Let me come in here and just grab one of these. Well, that's the one I don't want. Okay, so this is the one I had before. Now, yours on here, if yours says main right there, that's what it's expecting you to push it to. But if you click the down arrow, you may have both. I know that one of the first year students, it's weird. He can push to master, but he can't push to main. And I don't know why. So his down here says master, and over here it says main. So you may want to look at yours and see what it says. If yours says main right now, change it to master and see if it found it, or try to go back to your push statement and push it to main. Does all that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll try using main, but it's just kind of because like in the get bash here it says in the parens master, so that's why I was using master.
Right, but that said, that's probably because that's what you used, right? I mean, that's what you tried pushing it to in
Right.
here. So you can try that, and if it doesn't work, let me know. So I'm just going to get into water, so I'll be back in 2 minutes. So if you could, what you just mentioned after that about your other React projects, like I said, if you haven't done so, just send me an email on it. I'll look at everything before I go on and try to fix that problem with the React Movie app.
Okay. All right.
All
Thanks.
right, thank you. That's all I got for today, guys, and I will see you tomorrow. And hopefully, we're going to be starting on our MERN Stack project at that time.